You okay? Hey, we are live. We are only two people today. We got some people with other commitments, so we might have a few late joiners. But right now, we have enough to talk about. Got Mike Reiser, the rankings guy. He got our new rankings out last night and literally broke the internet. But we figured out kind of what the problem is, and we're going to work on that. So hopefully next time we don't have that much of a slowdown. But we're gonna talk about kind of hit on some topics like Trikoff and some big matches from the last couple weeks. If you haven't noticed on the rankings, a lot of the key wins and losses are starting to pile up. I know just from looking at the list, we have probably 150 key results, and that's whether it's semi-state or state ranking information. So it's pretty cool that we got that stuff in, and it's that time of the season where you start seeing all the good kids, and you got some good matches coming up. We're going to start talking about 285. We're going to start from the top this time because we usually kind of skimp on the big guys, and we're afraid of guys like Streck and Oglesby and Treywick. We've heard Treywick's a monster, and so
Yeah,
we're gonna give them some love.
yeah. I think we knew he was a monster, though, right?
Yes. Last year I asked what kind of granite he was chiseled out of. I mean, he is put together, and when they say he runs a 4.8, I know he's gonna catch me, so I better be nice to him.
Yeah.
So let's talk about heavyweight, getting some shuffling in there, getting some losses, some wins. What are the big movers and shakers right now in the big guy weight class?
Yeah, man. Like heavyweight, like a lot of the weights, man. It's so exciting because you're trading losses and a solid guys, kind of on the outside looking in. Like we dropped Brendan Sutton from Jennings County out. I seen he had 2 losses. I have no clue his losses too. So when we don't get those kind of results, we kind of shift them. And Chris Riddle from Perry's like right on the outside, but Isaiah Schultz, the Lake Station heavyweight, was 5-0 at the Trikoff. We moved him in. He's a huge, big kid, man. He was at I seen him at the Harvest. He lost to Corey Chrisman, who was also in. Michael Smith from Lebanon got in. They've been sending me a lot of emails, kind of getting his results. He had beat Drew Hobeck early on, so it was really just kind of shuffling. Some of the guys, James Hopkins, another big guy from McCutcheon, who was a runner-up. Chrisman also beat him, so he had a win over Smith. So both those guys got in. Michael Smith, I know he's at the IndianaMat. I know that Riddle won the IndianaMat, but he took 2 losses early at Capital City. That's kind of keeping on kind of outside, and I think that obviously he has some big matches this weekend with Jason Brogan, who the Warren Central kid who beat him at Capital City. So I'm sure things like that could always change up. Brett Henson's still in, and then I think the top 6. I don't think it's really changed a lot, but obviously Streck still won. I seen him last Wednesday against the Portage kid, who's actually really good, Giovanni Morello, and just dominated. And he dominated. I don't think we have the result in there. Michael Kern from Lafayette Harrison, and he's just a beast. And then Oglesby's still in there. I think he's been missing a couple matches here and there. Nate Treywick also, we just talked about. Quinn York moved up. He jumped Perkins, 5-0 at the Trikoff, 5 falls. That dude's an absolute beast. Then Ian Suttles jumped up 6. Owen Perkins 5. Suttles. So I think that weight, top to bottom, is a really good weight. And heavyweight, I think there's a lot of times those guys towards the bottom kind of trade losses here or there.
Yeah, I mean that's like any of the weights that you have. Once you start getting about 9 to 16, you're drawing names from a hat because everyone's beating everybody, and it's fun. But we got Streck and Oglesby, who are probably a little bit ahead of everybody else, but still 3 through 8 are pretty solid wrestlers. And Treywick, you can't overlook him. Both him and Oglesby are D1 football players, so that tells you a little bit. York,
Streck's the D1 football player too, right?
Yeah, Streck's D1, whatever he wants to do. If he wants to play ping pong, he's D1.
I believe it. One of
I
the guys we
mean,
did drop out, and I just kind of glanced down, was Kobe Mount from Scottsburg. I haven't seen any results from him. Nothing. I've seen some Scottsburg's been posting some results, so we dropped him out. If he comes back in, obviously we'll move him back in. He was semi-state guy last year, awesome record, but right now we have him out.
yeah, that's a good point. I will, what makes you? I mean, I know you said you dropped a couple guys, especially like him out. Why would you do that, and what can we do? I mean, if he is wrestling, maybe he's hurt or something. How can we make sure he's still in there? I mean, that's the main thing. I mean,
That, and this is, I mean, this is the wrong way to go about it. Once you take him out is when you get the most feedback. Like if I take him out, then everyone blows me up. It's like, no, he's hurt. He's coming back. Like you messed up. You're the worst. And it's like, okay, cool. I'm gonna put him back to 8. But it's not until you get pulled out and then you get the message.
Yep. Yeah. No. I mean that's right. I mean, I was looking for. I saw a couple of Scottsburg results, and it's kind of a place that we don't get a lot of information out of. So, what do? You take them out, and obviously it's gonna stir up some people. They're gonna, come out and do their, they're gonna say, hey, he is wrestling. He, banged up his knee or whatever, that type of stuff. So, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, the worst case, if your kid's not wrestling, a kid that's ranked and he's not getting in the results, and especially from a school that we don't get a lot of information for. I mean, if it's Perry, if it's Franklin, if it's teams that we have pretty good correspondence with, we know if a kid's hurt. We know we get kind of those kind of details. But send Mike a message. It never hurts to say, hey, Colby Mount's still alive. He's kicking. He'll be in the lineup this week at whatever Super Duel. So.
Yeah, and this is no lie. And hey Dane.
Hey.
And this is no lie. Like I was just telling Joe that I cleaned out my entire messages like a month ago, and I'm already up over like closer to 100. And 99% of the time, unless it's something like you respond with okay after I responded to you, I will respond to your message. I'm not gonna say like cool, Kobe Mount's not in there. Great, thanks for the message. I never got it, so I try to respond to everyone. I just obviously if you're taking time to write me, I could take 10 seconds to write you back.
Yep. We're moving on the rankings. We're going top to bottom, so we give a little bit of love to the big guys because we heard Trey Ruck's a monster and we're afraid of him. So
yeah, those are my posts, honestly. When people just put like how a guy's a monster, those are awesome.
Yeah. No, if you've seen him before this year, he was a monster before, but
he just didn't grow a grown man. He's been a grown man. He was born.
Are we gonna see posters at Indy from Treywick for the 800-pound gorilla award hang on the side of the buildings?
We were trying to get him on the team, but I guess he declined.
Yeah. He would look mean with one of those gorilla singlets on. I can tell you that much. No. Moving on to 220. Last week we had Woods and Guerra wrestle, which is a good match. If someone posted it, which is they showed. I mean, it was a great match. They both got after it. I mean, for 220s, they got after it, which is good, and definitely a good matchup that we'll possibly be seeing at state. I do like seeing Morgan Crawl at number 3 because I'd love to see Guerra and Crawl wrestle. Because that'd be quite a mismatch because Guerra's probably about 5'6", 5'7", and Crawl, what is he, 6'5", 6'7"?
Yeah, he's like 6'5". Guerra has some big legs. And I think that's one of the things on the site, and I know we plug the site all the time, and it's like, oh, the site's so good, and a lot of people told me that, but posting that video, that's awesome because obviously not everyone could be there, and it just shows you how good LSAO is, and it shows you how good Kobe is.
Yeah, Guerra's tough, and I've seen him for the past few years at the Carroll Super Bowl, which is this weekend. Hopefully we'll see him again. I know he hasn't wrestled the last couple matches, so
yeah.
He's gotten a lot better. He's been frustrating just for our kids to wrestle, and I know our guy last year beat him in the duel, but then lost to him at semi-state. And I mean, he was on fire state tournament, and I mean that showed. He placed 6th at state, so and he's tough. I mean, he's short, strong. He's one of those kids that you just he's hard to prepare for. And this weekend, if he wrestles, he could have a couple of decent tests. Our guy Eamon Carr, who was a semi-state, and then Blake Davis, who is a pretty big kid. He's had a pretty good year so far.
Yeah, both of those guys right outside the top 16.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously wrestling a good match with Guerra. whether you win or lose. I mean, if you lose 4-3 or something, that's gonna probably get you past a couple guys that are maybe on that bottom part. But go ahead and run down your
and
big
just
guy.
kind of follow what you said there. A loss doesn't always mean you're going to drop. I mean, if you get pinned by the 16th guy, like, and you want to get ranked, that's going to be tougher. But like a close loss to one of those guys, like, I wasn't moving that. It doesn't matter. Morgan Crawl was 5-0 at the Trikoff. Didn't matter. Like, it matters for his record, but like Kobe wasn't LSAO. Great match. Those guys are still 1-2. I mean, I kind of start from the bottom, just kind of tell people. Brady Shepard, Jennings County kid. Triple B said, hey, man, this guy's legit. And then he had some good wins. We moved him in, 16. Actually, Triple B's guys right in there. Marcus Schoonover. Clayton Scroggs got a pin, Martinsville kid. So Martinsville is just producing 220s that are wrecking kids, right? Because they had a kid that graduated early. Schoolcraft.
Schoolcraft, yep.
Yep. Doesn't sound like he's going to be back.
Mm-hmm. And then you got some. I mean, you got some good guys in there. I mean, even a kid like Gunnar Larson, who's he's a grinder. He likes to wrestle. I mean, he can knock off any of the other guys if he in a good run.
Yeah, Corvasi and Morrow, that guy's really good.
Yeah.
Evan Ellis had a huge offseason. He's a sophomore, just awesome. Kasha Wilder, Corey Clem, that dude's a beast. They said he's like 15-0, 15 falls for Gibson Southern, and he'll get some tests. He'll have Schoonover and Brady Shepard this weekend. So Matt Pinola from Zionsville is a folk style state champ. I think he ended up taking third at Zionsville or fourth, but he injured, so we didn't really drop him as much. I think he dropped a couple spots back. I'll wait. Jordan Cooper is still good. Dropped to the Elkhart kid. And the Elkhart kid probably fits in the mix. I know he had an injury default in there and then had an awesome Memorial tournament. Noah Little probably drop out. Seen his result after we did the rankings. He on the rankings board, he is dropped off, I think. He lost 1-0 to Lawrence North.
That's we'll get on that one for Dane in a little bit.
Yeah.
Just like heavyweight, there's two top guys that seem to be a little bit ahead of everybody, but then I mean you really can't count out those 3 through 8 guys. It's for as much as we lost last year at 220. Because honestly I think that's probably one of the most exciting weights we had. I mean you lose 2 nationally ranked guys, and you come back. I mean, we saw some solid kids, and it's actually a pretty young weight class. I mean,
3 nationally ranked guys we lost.
Yeah. Oh, yes, 3. Sorry. Yeah, we had 3
and a guy that was an absolute athletic freak too. The Ritter kid, Falkenberg. That kid was awesome.
Yeah, Falkenberg, and he's done pretty well for I think Indianapolis so far this year. So I mean, he's actually pretty. I mean, he's kind of sneaky good. So I mean, you look at the guys even in this weight class. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 6 or 7 seniors listed, so I mean that's really rare for a weight class like this. So it's a lot of young guys and lots of solid kids. So I mean definitely going to be a good weight class even next year. So I mean you lose 3 of the top 4, but you're going to bring in a lot more, some more quality kids too. So.
And just another thing I want to touch on. I was a little disappointed. I know they bumped Blake Ripple up at the Trikoff to Russell Crawl to get that rematch, and they bumped him away. So I'm not being in a disrespectful way, but that was a match I really wanted to see. Maybe that match could have moved him ahead of LSAO if he would have beat Blake, and he beat him last year. But just one of those things, they moved the duel's kind of out of reach already, and they moved Blake up, and they sent a JV kid out. And I mean that happened to Blake 4 times at the Trikoff, which that sucks. You go to one of the tougher duel tournaments, you want to see some matches, for him, not for me, but. Obviously, he's going there expecting to wrestle, bumping at 220, probably weighing like 188.
Yeah, definitely. He's, that's you want to get the matches. I mean, Blake's one of those guys that he's going to chase matches. He'll go up to heavyweight if he needs to wrestle. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if he weighs in 195.1 and wrestles Streck.
And I think Gunnar Larson dropped. They wrestled, and Gunnar Larson dropped a spot or 2. And Blake kind of just manhandled him, and I think that just tells you how good he is.
Yeah, that's I mean, Larson's a solid wrestler. I mean, full I mean, he's easily 210, 215 right now. I know he was a little bit lighter last year, but I'm sure he's closer to 220, and I mean that's almost a 40-pound weight advantage, at least a 30-pound weight advantage, and it's one of those things that's you'll see. I mean, that kind of stuff is pretty cool. I like it when guys chase matches. They're pretty nice. Got some intermission puppeteering going on here. Let's move on to 95.
Speaking about Blake Rappel, we can go right to 95 now.
Yep, good transition. Playing that, right?
Yeah. That dude's awesome. Like we said, we just kind of curtailing what we were saying. He's going to chase every match. So if your team has a good 95, he's going to wrestle 95. If your team has a good 220, he's going to wrestle 220. And you're not going to, he's going to get the best matches. So he's number one. He's awesome. I think that he's really good. Because I think a lot of times we kind of miss out on. And we had a couple guys. Bryant White fell off, an Anderson kid. He, I guess he was pinned by, Robert Clark from Southport. So he was wrestling, and I think Clark's had a couple good wins, and I think he's like 15-2. So he's kind of right there on the watch list. We had a couple other guys right in there. Harrison Lee, but sorry, I thought I muted. Did I mute?
No.
Okay. Like, it's very, very deep.
You there?
Yeah, I think so. Can you hear me?
Yeah. You're cutting out a little bit. So.
Yeah, we seen Jarius Perry Wednesday. He was a 220 ticket rounder, beat Braxton Ebby. Cut down a weight after missing a year. Dude, he's just a big, athletic, physical kid. We moved him down to 16. He wrestled Tyrone Hedrick. Hedrick lost to Justin Akers at the Harvest. Justin Akers, a sophomore from Crown Point, athletic kid. Tanner Bradley's still in there. I think he's splitting up some matches. Bassmeyer's at 95. Mater Day had some of their guys in there. Noah Schrader's another guy. I kind of wanted to take him out. I haven't seen anything from him. We haven't seen any results. Guys are asking me if he's wrestling. I have no clue. We left him in. If we don't see anything after this section, we'll probably take him back.
Yeah, he was on their roster and actually might be on they have the city championships this weekend. I was actually getting ready to go look and see if he was wrestling. I mean, obviously guys like that probably play football and easily could have a little bit of an injury that they're holding them out for. So make sure, like we said earlier, if they're hurt, tell us. That way we can, we know and we don't just pull them out of the rankings. So, I mean, it is a pretty good weight class again. Wrong one. But definitely one Rappel, chasing second. Wouldn't surprise me maybe if Hinkle drops down to 82. I haven't heard anything about it, but I know originally they were thinking he could possibly go 82. We'll find out, I guess.
Yeah, and that's one of those guys too where him and Blake had some awesome matches last year. So yeah. I know for sure the Connorsville match was really good, they said.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
I'm sure he feels he's right there. Randy Scott's, done well at Fargo. Bo Davis has had a good year. Tristan Tante's always in there. Nick Fowler, I think he made a pretty good jump. I think he started off 15-16, beat Hedrick, was 5-0 at the Trikoff. Just a big, strong, athletic kid, real fast. Semi-state kid from the alma mater, Calumet. Jake Havens, he dropped a little bit when Mason Paris bumped up and I think beat him up. I don't want to say beat him up, but beat him pretty well.
Yeah, no, it's definitely that weight class looks very, very top heavy as far as what we're seeing right now. But I mean, definitely some guys it's one of those that we lost a lot of seniors and we're still trying to figure out who's filling in for those seniors in there. So I mean,
Yeah.
it'll start shaking out once we start hitting the tournaments and stuff. And I mean, it even is right now. So
Well, even a kid like Matt Hedrick, I think people were asking me how good Matt Hedrick was, and just to kind of give a gauge, he was the Calumet regional champ, lost in the ticker round to Morgan Crawl, 1-0, and now he's 14. He's taken 2 losses. He had an injury to fall to Fowler, and then lost to Akers. Like that's if I said anybody losing to Morgan Crawl 1-0 in the ticker round, I think that would have been
yeah, that's definitely a good one. Let's move on to 182. Had some good results this weekend that kind of shook some things up. I'll let you enlighten everybody.
Yeah, not that I'm surprised because we knew Andrew Davidson was really good, and I think when people see guys that didn't wrestle a year before, like, oh yeah, this guy's ranked the top 5 kid, what has he done? He went out and kind of beat John Morales, beat him pretty good. John Morales, returning medalist. So I think it makes me feel good when that happens because I could easily that guy could lose and be out of the rankings really quick and no one will remember. But this is another weight. It's so good. Actually, number 11, I talked to one of the Perry guys. I said Johnson Corbath decided to retire from wrestling for right now.
Oh.
So that would move Cornelius Knox Abbott from Warren Central into the 16th spot. So if he's watching the show, congratulations.
Yeah, that one, that'll be an interesting weight. I mean, I know there's that Mason Paris. That one, I mean, Lawrenceburg's starting to have a good little influx of wrestlers, and he bumped up and made a top 8 guy. And Techfall, top 8 guy at a weight class. I mean, that's not like you're bumping up from 120 to 126. You're bumping up, 13 pounds and probably a good amount of mass.
Yeah, and a good amount of being like a 15-year-old kid.
Yeah.
Like 182, you're not getting a lot of 15-year-old kids in there.
No.
And he's doing work.
I don't think if you're 182 pounds as a 15-year-old, you're called a kid, though.
No, we knew he was good. That was the one last year when we were saying incoming freshman. I was like, this kid's legit. And I didn't think he was going to be at 82. I thought he was going to be right around 70, 60. But at 82, he's doing work right now. This is a good weight, too. I mean, not to be like, oh, man, our rankings are so great. But, I mean, Jake Clamola from Lake Central, that guy was good. He gave Chase Osborne a really good match at the Harvest Classic. Went from 60. He was a regional champ at 60 and kind of filled out. Kyle Schaefer had great kid results as a sophomore. Was a semi-state kid last year. Daniel Wright was a returning state qualifier. Lost this weekend to Mason Chow, who lost at the sectional from Clay, which is in a tough sectional. And Andrew Williamson from Zionsville is really good.
Yeah,
Evan Elmore's back, so that was a guy that was out.
Yep.
A nice set of semifinals at the Al Smith.
Yeah.
At 182.
And then Robert Mann's coming down from 95 last year. He had a solid year at 95. Comes down. He also has a win over Morales. And, I think it just gives a lot of depth to that weight. You see a lot of guys move into these weight classes, and Chase Osborne's really good. And Myron Howard Anderson kind of returning to that weight makes it deep.
Yeah, definitely. Myron Howard Anderson, he's one that, I mean, he's going to give the top guys fits just because of his length. And, I mean, he's kind of one of those guys that it's hard to prepare for. And, I mean, he can give any of those guys fits. And, I mean, get the right style mismatch it go in his favor. I mean, he's definitely a contender. And you can't, I mean, he's looking up and down the rankings, there's really not one that any of those guys you really want to overlook. I mean, you do have Spencer McCool, who probably has the coolest name.
Yeah.
And I just want to hear that name at in the state finals.
We're pulling for Spencer McCool for Kevin Whitehead.
Yes.
Even Cameron Duckos, that's like a cool name.
Yeah. So.
But I think I was talking to Lake Central's coach, and they wrestle Chesterton this weekend, so you can see Clamola, Andrew Davidson, and I think that's a good test to kind of see where those guys are.
Yeah.
But I know that Andrew Davidson's pedigree is ridiculous. His dad is a freak. If you've ever seen Keith, that dude's huge, and he
Yeah.
was a two-time champion and Big Ten Freshman of the Year, and kind of just did my financial advising and helped me get some municipal bonds that were no, I'm just joking.
He forced you to do the
Yeah.
you're either over that arm bar or you're gonna.
As I'm plugging his brokerage, if you guys need some mutual funds.
Nice. Let's move on to 170. Got a new number one. One of two weights. I think we had new guys. Ben Harvey with the big win over Stevenson on at the Trikoff. I guess you were there. You can elaborate a little bit more.
Best match of the Trikoff. Hands down best match of the Trikoff. And this is kind of, and obviously I have no alliance to any team, so I get to watch all the matches. And after Super 32, Joe and a couple other people were telling me, man, Ben Harvey's a state champ. I said, a state qualifier last year, got upset Friday night. If he's state champ, he was in a weight at the IndianaMat preseason open. I was like, we'll see. You got returning champ there. No, that kid's a state champ good. That match was a state championship good match. If they could take that match and put it under the lights, everyone's going to go home happy. 0-0 first, but they had some ridiculously good scrambles. Ben Harvey was putting, 4 or 5 moves together and on some attacks, and Stevenson's just, athletically, hips, just mat awareness, so good. Goes to overtime. Harvey's in on a deep shot, and Stevenson went for an elevator and went down, but, he didn't throw his headgear, and he was just like, cool, man, awesome. See you in February. This is a great match.
Yeah, that's definitely a and the thing is, the Harveys, they grow. I don't know what they feed them, but I remember when he was an 8th grader, he was wrestling Hayden Lee at Freestyle State, and this kid's tough. He wrestled 113 as a freshman, now up to 170. that's a little.
He's a full 170. He's not like a small 170.
No.
He's not wrestling 170 because he's wanting to eat and he's 161, and no, that is a full 170. That weight is this is like one of my favorite weights right now, honestly. And I really didn't know what to do up top, but I said, man, Ben Harvey with the big win, let's move him number 1. Forget it, And he jumps Leidy, who hasn't been there, but has a Fargo. He has has a stop sign.
Yeah, he Stevenson lost last year too, and just you can probably make a case for any of the top 8 guys for number 1. And I know this is one that we've texted back and forth and called, and even preseason rankings, like, who do I put number 1? Do I put this guy? Do I do this? And it's like, that's why I pay you the big bucks, because I don't even want to deal with this. You can make strong cases for any of these guys for number 1. So.
Oh, yeah. These guys are awesome. And, you think about a kid like Dylan Jackson, a state semifinalist, returning in the same weight. Is 8 right now. He lost to Cameron Jones the second match back, and obviously there's going to be some rust, but Cameron Jones is really good. Brandon Helm's really good. This guy just went on, pinned a super freshman that, Stopco's really good, beat Mamalenti. Colton Gonzalez is kind of getting lost in the mix. That guy is ridiculous also. That's Mark McCloskey's pick to win a state title.
Helm only lost to Harvey 3-2, and he's number 9. That tells you what the depth of that weight. Manalani was a semi-state champ. Kind of got upset a little bit on Friday night last year too. And he's one you can throw. You could throw in the mix for number 1 too. It's just a crazy weight.
And we got kind of on it after the fact that Forzelli lost. So he'll drop a little bit, but nothing crazy. But even the guys right outside the top 16. The Tristan McDaniels from Tecumseh. Dax Jones didn't wrestle this weekend, but he's been at the semi-state every year of his high school career. James Malone, only 2 losses on the year. Cameron Jones in a decent match, and Stevenson. These guys, Connor James is in this weight. Connor James is a kid that could show up and be in the state semifinals, if not win it. Just that talented. He has a win over Josh Farrell when he was a freshman, and then Just a really deep, good weight. I really like this weight. This is one of my favorite weights. It's one of the toughest to rank.
Yeah, definitely one to keep an eye on. And I mean, there's going to be some shakeups. I think. I mean, a lot of these teams are probably going to see each other in the coming weeks, so it'll be fun. I mean, you could easily see Harvey versus Mamelati. They'll be at Team State. Stevenson will be at Team State. You could easily see these guys all match up again.
Stevenson, Liddy, and Dylan Jackson meet up at Mooresville.
Yeah.
Mamelenti Sapco rematch would be at Al Smith.
Yeah.
I mean,
you may see
too.
You may see Harvey and Stevenson again at Team State.
Yeah.
Well, won't Jackson will be down at Mooresville also, so that's going to be. I mean, that'll be a good one just to go down and watch. I mean, forgot Helms at Team State also. I mean, that's going to be some good. Walton will be at.
That's a good weight, man.
Walton will be at Connorsville with Gonzalez, and I'm looking to see if any. James will be at Connorsville.
Walton.
Yep. So definitely next couple weeks, maybe you'll get a lot more fun with figuring out how to do these guys in the ranking. I think you might just draw them out of a hat by then.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the one guy that just comes. I don't know. I'm trying to look on the watch list. Who's the guy?
Yeah. So we'll move up to down to 160. You have 3 guys with state medals. 3 guys have been in the semifinals. But we also have 9 guys that have been at state. So definitely Drew Hughes. We had our Wrestling Wednesday, our first of many articles, hopefully. Great article on him. Number 1, he's been in the state finals. He's one that's grown to 40 pounds already. He's on the Harvey diet. So I'll let you comment.
I think this is a tough weight too, because there's no real way to get those top 3 guys. Obviously, Drew and Darden are gonna wrestle, 6 or 7 times, allegedly. Not 6 or 7. 1, 2, 3. So 4 or 5 times possibly. And then Kuntz. I'm a big Gabe Kuntz fan. So when people are like, oh, I like that Gabe Kuntz kind of put us out there as hey, I should be in the rankings last year, and hey, when you see some results, went out, did it, got in the rankings, knocked out guys that were ranked ahead of him, had a great season, was in the state semifinals. Great kid. When you talk to him, really nice kid. Everyone's a big fan of him. Great family. So I like that guy. I like all those guys up to, Kemper's there, who's really good. So Kemper and Kuntz will probably meet up along the line. Weimer jumped, beat Baumgartner, which, all those guys right there, Dodson was a state qualifier. Hunter Moat was a state qualifier, 170. They're saying he's going to go to 60. I moved him down. We could always move him back up, but I think it kind of filled the weight out a little bit. Parker Fritz is a state qualifier. Brigman we brought up from 152. Jacob Gray is really good. This whole weight, I think you get down to the bottom, you get some guys I kind of think Tanner Lockyer are guys that I think could be in the mix. Maybe they're not as, everyone's not thinking they're really good. Evan Larson's a 2-time semi-state qualifier. Ethan Runyon, the Martinsville kids, I think are really, really tough. Prentice is in the lineup for Penn now. He was an ISWA folk style champ 2 years ago. Charlie Hill, another Lawrenceburg kid. He's traded losses, so the next guys out are still good. Brandon Manning, traded losses with Charlie Hill. Jacob Cruz, a Knox kid's really good. Des in there. Thomas Dole. Seth Wrench when he gets back. Either he's 52 or 60. We're not really sure. But just a good overall weight. And I'm sure there's guys I'm missing. Obviously, I wouldn't weight, but really good spot.
Now and the rumor is that Dylan Jackson's certified there. I don't know if he's going to get down. But
I was keeping that one close to the chest. No, yeah, I've heard that Dylan Jackson's talk about coming down to 60, and that just adds more to that weight. That's just an awesome weight too.
Yeah, definitely. So
young weight, right?
What did you say?
Not as young, maybe not. But there's some young guys in there.
Yeah. If you have Jackson drop down, you could have possibly a Jake Weimer versus Baumgartner ticker round match at semi-state too. That'd be I mean, or either that, Baumgartner or Jackson versus Weimer. That'd be, that's a pretty rough tick-around match. And usually Fort Wayne, we don't have that many state qualifiers come back, and we usually get one of those matches.
Yeah, Fort Wayne likes to do that. Everyone likes to give Fort Wayne a hard time, but they like to leave medalists home.
Yes.
Just quick. I mean, talking regional, semi-state. Drew Hughes, Darden Sherg, Adam Dotson, Evan Larson, Jacob Cruz, all same regional.
No, wow.
So then you mixed in a Denzel Prentice, Hunter Moat, Parker Fritz. That's going to be a good ticket around in Maryville.
Yeah, they're getting one of those guys no matter what. I mean, when you name 4 of them, I mean, somebody's getting one of those guys.
Isn't that the beauty of Indiana semi-state? Like, hey, I just qualified for the semi-state. I can go to state. I got Darden Sherg, he's a regional runner-up, or Drew Hughes.
Yeah. That's always a nice one. Moving on down to 152, Forte, top dog right there. He really needs the 4th place finish to round out the 1 through 4, but I don't think that's exactly what he wants.
No. I think this is a weight that kind of comes closer to the how your weights usually look. Forte looked awesome at Trikoff. No one even touched him. Great. His dad's an awesome guy. I talked to him for a little bit, and your guy Josh Garman, I think, is really good. Nick's guy CJ. So it looks like I'm all IndianaMatted up at top, but those guys deserve that. That's not like I'm giving guys passes. Van Camp, I think, is good. Cody Christensen, just as a side to all that, beat Jared Swank in a close match, beat Kristen in a close match. That kid was like a point away from getting the Willie Armstrong draw. They went to like 4 or 5 overtime matches last year, and he's 5. Swank's really good 6. Brett Johnson's another guy. Jeez, man, this kid was a 6-pounder state qualifier.
Yeah, he's gotten a little big, but yeah, he's been to state. You can never count out a guy that's been to state. Smiley right below him was at 126, a state qualifier too. So
and those guys, Brett Johnson, and not to be like, oh man, I love Perry, and obviously me and Zach were buddies, and those guys aren't getting out coached. Like, they don't get out coached very often. How about that?
Yeah.
So they'll have Brett Johnson ready to roll. Burke looked good this weekend. I don't think he didn't lose any matches. Kristen, real solid kid. Connor Armuth's a kid I think that a lot of people, I've seen him a couple times, really good. I think people kind of sleep on that Logansport regional, and I think that's one of the better kids at Logansport. Trey Lynch, my boy, his dad sent so much stuff. I like that guy. He got a big win this weekend over Haynes. Jake Farmer, good win. Mitch Lehman, they said lost, so I'll have to get Chance Williams in there. Brian Carrier, the Lawrence North kid, awesome. I was going to get Davin Gonzalez, and he keeps losing to him, so Davin Gonzalez from Portage looked really good. Tanner Webster was my 16, and it came down to Davin Gonzalez and Tanner Webster. Tanner Webster lost a 1-point match to Kellen Van Camp. Bose Motorball falls out. Derek Noon falls out. Taylor Grimm was in there for a hot minute. He fell out. That's another weight that's just ridiculously deep. I'm actually, as I scroll down, 18 through 4, 3 can kind of interchange at any point. I think those guys wrestle each other. I bet those are all really good matches.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. A weight that we're still trying to figure out, where everybody is, and some guys. It's a tough weight, and next couple of weeks obviously going to be good weeks to kind of see how things shake out. Penn, Lake Central, Mishawaka, all are going to be at Al Smith, Carroll, Penn, Perry, Franklin. They'll all be in Mater Dei. We'll all be at Team State 3A. So definitely some matches that we could be seeing there that will help solidify things. And this is still a lot of, not as many results between the kids here as we have in some of the other weights, but I mean it'll start coming together in the next couple of weeks. Obviously, a lot more.
Yeah, and I think that Tommy Forte is probably one of the best kids. If I'm picking right now for Mr. Gorilla, I'm probably picking Tommy Forte.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys agree with that, but I definitely think that he's that's one of those guys that I think guys are going to kind of move from. Like, well, he's 52. Let's kind of move around and see if we can get a state champ, maybe elsewhere.
Definitely. Move on to 145. Had a 1-2 match. Was it last week or the year? It was a week. It was last week.
No,
But we already talked about that. But definitely another good weight that we're looking at. I'll let you go on about it.
Should I start with that match, or you want me to start? I'll start with that match. So yeah, that was the Dole Wednesday. It was a really good match. 0-0 after first. Bam. Stephen Lawrence. I don't know if everyone calls him Bam. I know everyone that knows who he is in the region calls him Bam. Lat drop Kovac out of bounds. Kovac kind of rushed him. A lot of good scrambles. They just have such a different style where Kovac is never out of position. I feel like that guy's always in good position. Kind of a bigger 45. Bam's just as explosive as anyone in the state. Obviously, he was a Team IndianaMat kid. You've seen him up close. Dude's just can score and score and score and score, and that's what he does. And those guys got him going. It was a good match. I'm excited to see that because you're going to see that another 4 times possibly. Kovac got the win there, so that was another way. I'm not going to drop a match like that when it's really close because I think that those guys deserve to be 1 and 2 also still. Cale McCormick, I don't know. Yorktown's still kind of figuring out what they're going to do. I think Cale at 45 is a semifinalist, and I think what the end result is going to be for Yorktown is to win an IHSAA title. I think they're pretty much a lock for a ISWCA title. And Cale in the semis, maybe he can knock off a Bam Lawrence or Jacob Kovac. Trent Pruitt is always there. I think Trent's really good. Ethan Heron's a kid. I don't know if it's Ethan or Andrew. The semi-state had Ethan. Some of his results say Andrew, but that kid's a beast. That kid's the kid that everyone down south is sending you messages about that I've never seen that they're saying this kid's the sleeper for a state title. I mean, that might be wishful thinking on their part, but they're saying this kid's the real deal.
Yeah, definitely I mean, you got a lot of unknown guys there. I mean, even someone like Blake Jordan, he has some pretty good practice partners. Tony Vaughn's been wrestling real well.
Yeah, we bumped Tony Vaughn up from 38, so that was just one of those other notes.
Yeah, and then, I mean, you have a lot of guys that, just one of those weights that if, someone's not, not ready to wrestle on a Friday night or even Saturday morning, it could be a short day for them. So, still, McCormick, seeing how he goes, he's been one that jumps weights. I mean, he's up 20 pounds, and could be. I mean, I don't know if he'll see any of those guys anytime soon. I think I'll see Vaughn this weekend, I think.
Yeah, they won't see Kovac and Lawrence.
No. So,
I
don't know. I don't think they'll see. I'm trying to think if they'll see it.
They'll see Austin.
Might see Heron at Mooresville, possibly. I think Jennings County might be there. I'd have to double check.
That's exciting because I want to see Heron against some of the top guys, kind of gauge where he's at.
Yeah.
I know he had a really good match with Fleener last year in the ticket round, so.
Yeah.
And he's at Jeffersonville this weekend with some good people. Stephen Kitko, Noblesville kid, lost last night. We'll probably drop him out, so he's in there for a short minute. He lost our Hamilton Southeastern backup, they said, so I think Jimmy Wallace is the next kid up. He was a Hamilton Southeastern kid, right?
I believe so.
Yep, so Tanner Shipley in there, Ryan Schrock, regional champ. Chance Williams is up. So that's another weight. Logan Williams, the DeKalb kid. That's another weight. I think kind of a toss-up.
Mm-hmm. Let's move on to 38. You have two. We're going to see a number 1 versus 2 possibly this weekend. at the Hamilton County. Is it the Hamilton County? Is that what it is?
Marion, right?
Marion County.
Yeah, Hamilton. Yeah,
I mean,
whatever.
that's just
We got
where
county
Indianapolis.
championships. Yeah, we're gonna see that possibly. So it's a rematch Folk South State where James won. So we'll see if he can do it again. Definitely, I think those two probably wrestled a million times, probably throughout youth and everything. So
I actually
they're
seen
not strangers.
this weekend from when they were Pee-wees wrestling.
Yeah.
That's no lie. And they look exactly the same, which is weird to me. Yeah, no, obviously, Brandon James has been jumping weights. I mean, I don't know if they're really sure where they want him at. This is a good test. I mean, maybe he goes in there and beats Cash, and now he's a 38-pounder, or Cash could go out there and beat him, and maybe they think he's better at 32. Maybe doesn't feel strong. This is a weight where I think Kolakaska's right on 17. Mitch Anderson dropped out of return state qualifier. One of Drew Hughes' like single-digit losses. He lost to a Chesterton kid, Chesterton freshman, Nathan Boggs, Chris Tingle, Castleberry's in there. But this is another weight that's just deep. I just feel like it's a deep weight. Not that it's as deep as like 1 and 2, but then you got Quinn, Laughlin, who can maneuver. Joe Lee, I want to see how good Joe Lee is. I'll get some of these guys. And Trodank, Ellis, Fator. I think Fator is really good. Of all the freshmen I've seen, I think Fator has been the most impressive to me. I didn't see Mason Paris, but Fator's been awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Lee will have Harris probably next week.
Yeah.
At Modern Day.
Timberman too, right? New Pal's there?
Yeah, New Pal will be there. And you look at, Cash and Fator will be at Austin. So you throw in Franco will be there too. And you see some good. We're seeing some good matches coming up here with these guys. Definitely another. I mean, we have the two top guys who are probably a little bit ahead of everybody, but I mean, Joe Lee's the one that kind of a question mark. We haven't seen him yet. He's jumped up from 120 from the off season, and he's obviously we know he's legit. Toe Drank, he's tough as nails, and I know he's kind of always been in the rankings in and out of the rankings, and he'll have some good wins, and just either get a bad draw at semi-state, something doesn't go his way there, but he's tough as nails. I mean, he wrestled Cash at the IndianaMat tournament, to a 2 or 3 point match, which, I mean, and he was in the whole match. So definitely one that can, I mean, he has coaching too. He has two pretty good guys, and Maurer and Coughlin coaching him. So he'll be one to watch out for.
One of the fans of the show just sent me a text that I'm sleeping on Joe Lee. So.
Uh-oh.
So, yeah, I mean, and that'll always work itself out. But obviously, I know that kid's good. It's not that we don't know he's good, but I want to get him some matches, get him some wins. I'll get a match, and he just pinned the number 2 kid in Kentucky, and I'd be like, okay, then we'll move him up.
Yeah. So we'll move on.
James Cash this weekend. I'm excited for that. It's probably the match I'm the most excited for this weekend.
Yep, getting a lot of number 1s and number 2s this year. So I don't know if you're doing that on purpose or what, but
selling tickets, boys. Selling tickets.
We're moving on to 132. Gonna hopefully speed up a little bit. Nick Lee.
Yeah, we'll go a little quicker.
Nick Lee than everybody else, I think, is what the consensus is. Brayton Lee, I think, no relation. No relation. I need to put that in the rankings. Like, no relation to the other Lees.
I think Brayton Lee might be related to Chad Red.
Yeah. Yes. No, he's tough as nails. You got Chastain and Knapp, who are, guys who have been to state multiple times. Definitely ones. I mean, anytime you take out a national, top 5 guy in the country, and Chastain, Knapp, and Brayton Lee and Clarence Johnson are in the mix to, talk about a state championship.
Clarence is raw too, man. That was a JV kid that stepped in and got a medal, and looks really good. I'm hoping he can get some test. Does Russell Donaldson. Donaldson looked good. Evan Aldred's a Fargo All-American. Shermer's in there. Austin Laughlin. Riley looked really good. Egoff. Joe sent me a text, said, hey, man, this kid probably should be ranked. I said, Joe, that guy is ranked. So
that's how much I pay attention to the rankings.
And then I think 16, Isaac Gomez is in there. I always have Isaac Gomez around there. He's really tough, but you never really know what weight he's going to be at. Childers, and then even after that, the guys that right on the outside, Zach Mello, Hunter, Faith, Daniel Gunsid, Caleb Maddox, Childers, Fernando, those guys, man, we can rank 20 at that weight. We can rank 22 at that weight. That's a good weight.
Definitely. You have a Fargo All-American Eldred who's, ninth right now. So, definitely, one of those weights that, we got to see. I mean, Stevenson just came down last night, and, I was like, he kept telling me he's going to go down, he's going to go down. I'm like, I'll believe it when I see it. And so, I mean, he's going to be a contender at that weight. I mean, he could easily, he'll be one that, challenges for a semi-state title. He's going to have the size. He definitely has, the ability to make it. I mean, he's well coached, definitely a good wrestler. So definitely one you don't want to sleep on.
No. Let's we'll move up.
Move up to 26 before Dane falls asleep.
Dane, what did you think? Did I skip out on Daniel Gunsit?
Oh,
what's that?
Did I slip on your Belmont guy?
Oh, he had a pretty good match against Doster. It was disappointing to see that one go to overtime, but he'll have a chance against some of these guys coming up the next couple weeks to show that he deserves that 16 spot you've got him at now.
Yeah, I think he's good. I mean, especially at Al Smith, I think he could have a good run.
yeah.
One's not changing anytime soon unless something out of this world happens and he gets his first loss in his career. Chad Red's 1. No surprise, right?
Nah.
You think he still gets excited to be number 1 when we tweet that?
Yeah, he the favorites and retweets it. I don't know.
I know. Follow Juice at Twitter. No. Crary and Torres, 2 and 3. They could be 2 and 3 either way. I think that's going to be a good match. I'm hoping we get that match coming up, but I don't think they're going to meet up anywhere. That'll be like a regional match. Elliot Malloy dropped down. Elliot Malloy is a takedown machine. I think that guy's awesome. I like him at 4. He beat Alex Johnson, returning medalist, 5. Nam Ook, a kid that that's a kid that they kept saying, this kid can medal, this kid can medal. He's a JV kid, 6. Weimer beat Kobe Rapol, got him in there pretty good. Truver, state qualifier 2 years ago. Taylor Wright's been getting some good wins. McGee dropped a little bit. Becker's really good. Connor Wells, Chance Young. John Hunting, returning state qualifier. Tresden O'Neill. Hamilton Heights. I get a ton of emails. I love that. I'm never going to be at a lack of information from Hamilton Heights. No, that's a good thing, though.
Yeah. Rather too much information than not enough.
I'm inviting that guy to my wedding. And then Owen Doster.
Yeah. No, yeah. Doster looked good this weekend. I mean, he's a good sight. I mean, beat Kobe, and I know that Kobe was sick, but he looked good, and definitely a kid that can contend for a title. He has, we talked about genes earlier. His dad is a professional baseball player, so he has some genes, and he's either a 2 or 3 sport. I know he plays baseball, and I mean, good kid and good, obviously athlete. If you can, be high level 2 or 3 sports. So I'm kind of interested to see. Red and Johnson will be at the
Memorial, Mater Dei.
Mater Dei. Crary, Malloy will be at the Al Smith.
Becker, Hunting, Truver, those guys are all at Al Smith.
Yeah, so that should be a good week. Should get some good matches. So
that's another weight you could probably rank 25 because just looking at Rapol, Welliver, Dombrowski, Diaz, Hare, Flood, Trent, Reese, Johnny Lewis, Coley Allman. That's a deep weight.
Yeah.
Morgan Pruitt. That's a really good weight.
Yeah, we'll move on to 120. That's you want to talk about deep weight, you can probably draw any of those top 8 guys and wouldn't be surprising if any of them won a state title. And I mean this is one that's everyone except for 3 guys in the top 16 have been at state. So and most of them have a medal. So Hudkins should be a 2-time medalist. Got sick Friday night. Elliott, state champ. When you have a state champ third, That's always how deep a weight is.
Yeah. We moved Ferguson back down. Huckins, Elliott, Reitz, Ferguson, all medalists. Miller, 2-time semifinalist. Bailey, a semifinalist. Egley, a fifth placer. Brendan Black, a medalist. Kaufman had a great summer. Great results. Beat some really tough kids. Has has a win over Langlo. And that's like your first unranked, or your ranked guy that's not a medalist, a returning qualifier. Jake Hartman, a qualifier. Langlo, a medalist. Hatch, a medalist. Caleb Babcock, state qualifier. Zach McCoy beat Austin Holmes. Jacob Skaggs, a qualifier. Eugene Stark's really good. Lorraine, a qualifier. Pritchard, these are guys not even ranked that are qualifiers.
Yeah.
And it's just load it top to bottom.
Yeah.
And
definitely.
the next 15 guys after that are all guys that were at the semi-state. Every 106 that was at the semi-state last year basically is at 120 now. In any semi-state.
They forgot about that 113-pound weight class.
Okay.
Moving on, we'll go to 113. Should have that. This one will be very interesting. Peppel, obviously #1 right now. Conrath, you can't count out a Fargo champ guy that's been under the lights. Someone that's been under the lights is going to get a championship. Looks like so.
Yeah. Good for those guys, man. I'm excited. That's an exciting match.
Yeah.
Alec White has, just when you think Alec White's going, you're like, oh man, Skylar Turner's going to be the real deal. He's doing really good. Alec White beats him. Turner semifinalist. Skylar Turner, that's a big 113. Holmes looked awesome. Drew Hildebrandt's been looking awesome. Those are all good guys. Blake Lukowski I haven't seen, so I can't say he's looking awesome. But he's really good. I know Glukowskis are good.
Yeah.
De La Pena looks big for that weight. Ricky Rodriguez looks good. Then you get your first freshman. So you got 113 and you get your first freshman at 10. Ethan Smiley. You heard about him for years coming up. He's good. He's solid. He lost to Alec White. Owens is solid. Noah Franklin, returning qualifier. Lugas is a guy that they're real high on. They said he was real good. Carson Willis dropped him out of the rankings for a little bit and then said, yeah, he lost to Sal Irvin. I guess we can move him back in. Middle school state champ. Mason Mendez. Selmer looked really good Saturday. Josh Stevenson right there. Jack Franklin right there. Jack Serves is right there. Levi Black from Shenandoah. We don't get a lot of their results, but that guy's really good. Weaver, Prairie. That's a good weight. That's a good weight for I can go on about 20 kids.
Yeah, definitely another. A lot of guys that see some results coming up that'll help the guys move them up, the ones that are on your watch list, or move somebody down. That's one of those things that you gotta. This is the mid-season when we have those tournaments. It's gonna show where we're at, where the guys are, and who the better guys are. Moving on to 106.
My favorite weight class.
Yes.
I'm gonna start from the backside. Alex Gringo, that kid, Greeno. That kid was a semi-state kid, pretty thick. Lost a tight one to Ian Dombrowski, 2-1 at the Trikoff. And this is kind of the depth of the weight. Wrestled Colton Cummings and got tech falled.
Yeah.
This weekend was at 106. Colton's ridiculous. Pointer looks good. Dombrowski, I got some people give me a hard time a little bit on the Maryville semi-state board, which I can take it. I love it. They said, how does Dombrowski lose a triple overtime match to Tyler Triano, who's #3, but dropped 2 spots in the rankings? I said Kyle Mockenstrom drops down. He's always been in the rankings for us. I think he's really good. He's had some good Al Smiths. It's just he doesn't always finish seasons. I don't know why. I'm not trying to dig into the guy's thing, but I know that he hasn't been there all the time. That guy could win me and Joe were talking. That guy could win Fort Wayne, or he might not show up.
Yeah.
Not show up like he's out hanging out, but not be there.
Yeah, he definitely has the ability. You're a senior wrestling 106. He's one that he's only wrestled a couple matches I've seen so far, but when if he's at 6, then he is ready to wrestle. He could pull a Lucas Long and win semi-state. So
Yeah, I like to
he
see
wins
him
on
and
Friday night too.
Al Smith. I think that could be a good matchup with him and Colton and Al Smith. With a lot of these other guys just kind of splashed in there to see Triana be there. So Al Smith's going to really be good at 106. Batista didn't wrestle this weekend. Baxter Anakin lost to Noah Hunt, and then everyone told me Noah Hunt's the real deal. Basically, Noah Hunt was on the watch list, beats Baxter Anderson. Like, oh, that kid, I remember him. He was everything national champ as a kid. Won Tulsa, won Iowa, national champion, took some years off and started doing judo or jiu-jitsu, and now he's back, and they said that kid's really good. So I'm excited to see some B-South results. J-Dub sending me all kinds of stuff. I like that guy. He's always keeping me in the B-South area.
Nice.
Graham Rooks. Ty Mills, I wanted Nick to be on because a lot of people send me messages about Ty Mills, and they're like, oh, Ty Mills, he's a little high. He's a preseason national champ. I think he's really good. Lost a tight one to Mason Miranda. So he's going to see those guys going on, and I don't try to put targets on kids' backs, but it seems like everyone wants to say they want to wrestle Ty Mills. So good for him. I hope he wins them all. David Bryan, another Hamilton Heights kid. I've known every match that he's wrestled. Their coach sends me every result. Gary's a great guy. So David Bryan, I'm not sleeping on him. I know every guy that he's wrestled this year.
You know everything about him. Favorite color, mom's maiden name, girlfriend's name. You got everything. That's good.
His profile is stacked. Now, Gary's a great dude, so I don't want it to come off as me giving him a hard time because that's what I want. If you're overloading me with info, there's never a chance for me to be like, well, I didn't know.
Yeah, now someone posted on one of the modern day threads saying, Forsley and someone else got beat, and I'm like, where was the result? It was buried in one of the threads. I'm like, all you do is you send it to the right person. Post your results, send them in, and we'll see those. I mean, so I'd rather have too much information. I'd rather have you can't have too much information, especially when you're trying to rank. You're looking at probably 25 to 30 kids in each weight, and guys that you don't get to see on a regular basis. Guys out of schools and areas that we don't see, but I'll let you finish up, and then we'll go on to team rankings.
New Pal kid, undefeated, junior JV kid behind really tough kids. Good season. Triana really good. Clayton Anderson's been down and up. He's really good. His dad's awesome. Sends us a ton of stuff. Retweets all of our stuff. Likes us on Facebook. Colton Cummings. I got to see him again this weekend, and he's gotten better from last year. And being at a small weight, I could say this, and I'm confident in saying that he's probably the meanest kid at any weight in the state. He's just a mean, going, fast, strong kid, and I think that I like to see him at Al Smith, but I think he's already defending Al Smith champ, and that dude's really good.
Yeah, definitely. Colton's nice
RWA guy. RWA helps him out a lot. So
I can say that. So definitely a good weight, and I mean, Anderson's kind of one where we weren't sure about and did well at the preseason tournament, and he'll be once he starts seeing some of the guys, we're gonna. I mean, excited to see exactly where he is. Is he as good as Triana? Is he better than Cameron David Bryan? I don't think they're at the same tournament, but I think
different weights.
Different weights. So they're both kind of wrestling 13 and 6 right now. So definitely good to see. Seen some matches with him, and even any other guys. A lot of these guys are around the Indy area. Miranda beat Mills 3-0 on a late. Rode him out and end up getting a 3 near fall about 30 seconds to go. So I think they'll be wrestling this weekend. So could be a rematch. We'll see where that goes. Rooks is tough. Haven't seen very much results, but he'll be at the Al Smith. I am pretty certain Compass East still is there. So I mean, you got a 1, 3, 8. Damien's at Northwood, I think. I'm pretty certain they're still at the Al Smith.
10, 12.
Yeah, 10, 12.
14.
I don't think no Valpo's at
Oh yeah, they left. Yeah,
Connersville.
they're at Connorsville. You're right.
Yeah, so I mean,
Cav,
good weight. Yeah, so
just as a side, Colin Pointer from Portage is probably the most improved kid that I've seen this year from the IndianaMat Open to right now. And if he can keep that improvement, I think the sky's the limit for that. I think that's crazy that he's gotten that much better in 2 months. Has it been 2 months?
nah, it's been like 3. So yeah, but yeah. Anyway, we'll go into team. We'll wake Dane up. He's been waiting
I'm
for a
here.
while.
I'm here.
Stop it.
First off, the big Carroll Belmont match tomorrow night. What's your prediction?
84 to nothing.
In
Pain.
favor of
No,
Belmont?
78 to 6. I mean, Belmont has a
Good.
forfeit.
At least we win the forfeit. I mean,
That's right.
we have 6 guys. We have like 6 guys. If one misses weight, I think we'll be good. I mean, most of them aren't going to gain like the 15 pounds that they need to make it to 106. Hope not.
Yeah.
Nah, should be a good one. Hopefully, it's a little bit less close than it was last year. At least in
Last year was exciting, wasn't it? I mean, that was a great duel.
Yeah, that was intense. I like it, but I don't know if my heart can take another one like that.
And this is it. This is the last NHC duel between Carroll and Belmont.
Yeah, we'll still be wrestling after this year, but it won't be.
No longer conference foes.
No, it'll be friendly foes, I guess. So.
And how many dual meets has Carroll won in a row?
40-ish. I'd have to look it up.
It's been 2.5 years, I think.
Yeah,
So,
it has.
I know that's something the Belmont guys are looking to break, that streak.
Yeah, it's we have 50 right now. Actually, we're at 50 matches in a row.
Yeah, that's
Actually,
impressive.
no, I guess you can't go with the 2012 because they lost the team regional. So yeah.
Right, that would have been the last loss, right? It was to Belmont.
Nah, it was Snyder, I believe. No, yeah, I think it was Snyder actually.
Oh, okay, that's right. Yeah, that's right. I remember now.
So anyway, team rankings. I got some shakeups, got some matches. Trikoff was your probably focus. What's going on in the team world?
Well, I was celebrating on Sunday after seeing all the rankings. I think I went 100% at the Trikoff. Everybody fell into line exactly like they were. Woke up this morning and saw one of the biggest upsets since I've been doing team rankings, really. I mean, I had Lawrence North 10th, Yorktown 2nd. I know the coaches poll had Lawrence North barely in the top 20. That's a huge win for that program. They're definitely rebuilding, coming back up from being down for a few years from what we knew them to be 8-10 years ago. But I bet Yorktown wishes they had another shot at them with a full lineup, having a healthy Jackson and Howard Anderson in the lineup. But still, that shakes things up. And without the true team state anymore, it's hard to see where Yorktown's going to end up falling in the top 5 or the top 10 because they really won't see any of those other teams at the top. We won't see a Yorktown versus Mater Dei, Yorktown versus Penn, which is a little bit disappointing, but that's the way it is. Not really sure where Lawrence North is going to fall now in the team rankings. I know they'll be up against Maryville, who I have in front of them right now at the Al Smith. But it's good. It's good to see top 5 teams get beaten by teams in 10 through 12. That means there's competitiveness in those ranks. And Mater Dei, Perry, Penn. That's going to be a good set of 3 or 4 teams at Team State. Just wish you could have Yorktown and Portage and Crown Point in there too. It would definitely make for a great Team State the old way this year for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Not to harp on that, but man, Portage is so good. Like just a full team. If you're looking for like team, if that's what you're looking for, there's no way Portage doesn't belong there. They're so good.
Yeah, I caught, like you've been saying, Mike, you get messages all the time. I'm cleaning out my inbox constantly. A lot of people, as soon as we put Portage 4 ahead of Penn, there were a ton of messages. Portage isn't that good. They should be ranked top 5. They're at best 6, 7, 8. And boy, did they prove, did Portage prove all those guys wrong on Saturday with a great showing. Made all of us look really smart, picking Portage to win the Trade-Off.
I've been
But
plugging them. But I feel like those guys give it to me, like I have the vote. Like, yeah, that's what we're talking about. We should have been there. Like, I want you guys there.
correct. Yeah, yeah. You get people complaining about why they're not there. It's like I didn't have any input on the selection, and it's sort of the hand we've been dealt. There's not much you can do about it. That's what kind of makes the dual rankings fun, is that we're ranking teams that aren't actually going to see each other, and this is really the only time we're ever going to be able to compare Portage to Mater Dei is in these team rankings, because they're probably not even going to have a common opponent.
So Portage moves to 3 now, huh?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think Yorktown's going to have to drop down. Lawrence North's got a loss to
Twice.
Warren Central. They've lost to Portage twice.
By 20.
So they're not, it's not like Lawrence North's going to move to 3 or 4 or 5. It's definitely going to be Yorktown moving down. But it's definitely taking shape to be an interesting 3A tournament at Ball State in 2 weeks. We've been working on getting the seeds and trying to figure out who's going to be where. There's a lot of results yet to compute before we get to that point.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, no one's going to argue that Portage shouldn't be at Team State. I mean, and we've had some teams that, the past couple of years that, you're saying, hey, they probably should have been invited. No one's going to argue that. I don't think anyone. I mean, that's the system. Like you said, we've been dealt, and it's not perfect by any means. No one will claim that it's perfect. It does a good job. Belmont probably should have been a couple of years, but it's hard to do it with predicting the future. I don't think anyone can say they are very good at, except for Mike when he calls out some random freshman, say he's a state placer.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Me and Dane, I was just telling someone, me and Dane send text about JV guys all the time. They're maybe breaking lineups.
You guys are breaking Verizon's network on JV kids.
That's right. Always searching through those JV results.
I think it's awesome. I like that. I like the teams. And the thing I was telling Joe in the pre-show is that the Trikoff's going to be better next year. Like, it's good this year, but next year it's going to be better. Like, Lawrence North losing a couple guys. They only got a couple seniors, and Cash is one who's a hammer, but Portage is losing like 4 kids. Cathedral's losing like 2 kids. Franklin's young. Crown Point's not as young. Westfield's young. Lowell's young. Riley's young. Riley's only losing like 3 kids. Valpo's losing 2 kids.
Yeah, and Valpo has had some nice results lately. They lost one early in the year, first 2 weeks, that sort of dropped them out of consideration, but they had a good showing last Saturday.
Yeah, definitely. Team rankings are getting shaken up. Obviously, it's a little bit easier to follow teams as far as you're only following one era, or one entity, but you're trying to figure out, is this loss legit? I mean, the Yorktown, Lawrence North.
And they're always changing. That one entity is always, Cathedral on November 24th is not the Cathedral on November 30th, and is not the Cathedral on December 6th. And you have to weigh weigh all of those, and that's what makes it interesting and fun, though, at the same time. Yeah. And like I say every week, we're always trying to project which team with a full lineup is the best. It's not, well, Cathedral's only done this so far. Well, when they have their full lineup, when Yorktown has their full lineup, who is the best? And that's what I'm always trying to rank.
Yeah.
Definitely. I know people were saying that Yorktown was not. They didn't have Myron Howard Anderson and couple other guys I saw.
Josh Stevenson wasn't in, right?
Yeah. But also Lawrence North didn't have a couple other guys. So, I mean,
Correct. Yes, this is true.
That's
North
one.
North has some ridiculous dudes up top that are just lifting weights, I guess, because they're huge.
Yeah, they're gonna do well in the big boy gym after Christmas. They're gonna pile up some wins that first day at the Al Smith.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Uh, they got two brothers, like Samuels. Those dudes are huge. One's
Uh-huh.
like a 220 heavyweight and took Settles like 4-1. Um, how about Fort Wayne guy going down there making noise in Indy, man? That has to make you guys proud, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely.
Holding it down for the Coliseum.
Right at Fort Wayne. No, we should. I mean, the team. It's things are. We're going to see a lot more obviously in a couple weeks. Team state, but it's definitely going to be interesting. How the seeds work out. I mean, we still have a couple weekends of wrestling. I mean, where our team's going to fall and what. I mean, Franklin's really young, but I mean, you don't want to count out someone like Hassman, that hell of a coach. Definitely
Great.
get a lot out of his kids. Lawrence North, they're not at team state. Is that correct?
Correct.
Correct. Okay.
They are
I
not.
know they were. I think they were on the verge of it, but they. I mean, Carmel. I just saw looking at their results. They beat Carmel. Carmel's there, so definitely a just a lot of interesting plot lines and seeing where everyone's going to fall in the next couple weeks, as far as what teams go where and everything.
Yeah, definitely. There's still some things to shake out before we get to January 3rd.
So team states come. What kind of I guess what are we looking forward to as far as the next couple of weeks? We'll talk about team state in a few minutes after we this week. We obviously a good ranking match will be tomorrow night, Belmont and Carroll obviously. Any other matches that you're kind of looking forward to this weekend, Dane?
Um, there's the Yorktown duels that maybe not as important for the top 20 overall, but include some of the better 2A and 1A teams. Still trying to get an idea as to where some of those teams fall, especially as this is the first year we've really taken a deep look at the class rankings. So looking forward to that. And it's not like the individual tournaments don't have a bearing on your team dual rankings. I mean, you learn a lot at the Al Smith about what a team has dual strength wise, even if you don't have 14 on 14. So I mean, those holiday tournaments will tell us a lot about who's ready to move forward and climb up those rankings.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, what I don't know if you touched on Penn duels.
Penn and Portage rematch from the Harvest Classic.
Rematch. And, depends on what we gotta know what version of the Penn lineup. Is it the gold, the black, the pink, the?
That's right.
Depends on what Portage. It's a nice thing to have, and it's also kind of probably makes your job even more daunting is when you see a team like that who's deep and they can throw out two or three guys that are going to win matches, or even if they do lose to a state ranked guy, it's a regular decision, that type of stuff. So definitely.
Yeah, they have a big spreadsheet. Penn does. There's a lot of 2-1s and 3-4s on there. Well, probably not a whole lot of 3-4s. Probably a lot of 3-0s and 4s. They've got varsity. They've got 3 or 4 guys at every varsity spot practically, except maybe for 220. Although they've spread 220 around too. Yeah, it makes it interesting. You would hope that when they see Portage again, that we see their best 14 against Portage's best 14, and maybe we can get some justice for all of those Portage people that have been messaging me nonstop, making sure that they end up ahead of Penn. But I mean, Harper's
messages.
Harper's going to be ready too. I mean, they're going to want to prove that the Harvest Classic was not reality and that they're indeed better than Portage. So I mean, that's going to be a great duel.
Man, I like the dynamic of these teams though, like Penn and Modern Days like that, Perry, where these dudes are just top to bottom really good, not a lot of holes. And Portage doesn't have a lot of holes top to bottom. They're not like your slugger team. Like Cathedral still do very well at IHSA, but like Portage has a couple guys. They might take 14 guys to the semi-state. You know, they just don't have. They have a couple guys that obviously are top 5 guys, but they don't have the horses like Maryville has. Kovac, Strack, who are returning semifinalists, where Porter doesn't have all the semifinalists, but like top to bottom from 106 to 285, they're just a real solid team, and it looks like all those kids just bought in. Like,
yeah, and Crown Point's the same way. How many guys did Crown Point lose at the ticket round last year? I mean, they're not guys that everybody in the state knows. They're not state placers and state qualifiers, but they've got a squad. They're going to have 13 or 14 at semi-state, potentially. Just top to bottom, really solid clubs.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's just like it's good because I think a lot of people look at it as like an individual sport. Like, oh, my individuals are really good, but those guys are building like a bunch of kids that are really good, that are really buying in, which I think is awesome.
Yep. Any big matches you're looking forward to this week, Mike? Any individuals that
Marion County's always awesome. I mean, it sucks that I live in Northwest Indiana, so I don't get to see that tournament, and I'm setting a trip for this weekend, so I'm not gonna go there and watch it, but I'll watch it on track and try to get updates from people that are there, and that's always a good tournament because the city of Indianapolis is a good hotbed for, or Marion County in general is a good hotbed for wrestling.
Yeah, definitely. Now we'll touch on Team State. We haven't exactly made the announcement. I think the word might be getting around though. But on December 28th, we're going to have a nice little show. Basically, be a selection show. We're going to reveal the brackets. They're not our brackets. They will, reveal them, talk about them, dissect them. Be pretty cool to see that. We're going to do it live, so hopefully we'll have millions of viewers like we already do, but be neat to do. I'm excited to kind of been an idea we've been throwing around for a couple of years to promote it. So if you have any ideas, we might try to get in some coaches on. Just depends on how much we can organize in the next couple of weeks, because we're all kind of busy with Christmas and trying to do a little bit with the family, I guess. I know.
I'll be live from the mother-in-law's.
Nice.
I'll be in Florida.
You'll be in your bathing suit hanging out with Mickey.
Yeah, I'm gonna be. Yeah, from the pool. I'll be from the ocean. We're actually gonna be in Miami right then.
Nice. So it'll be a good time to. Be neat to have reveal the brackets live. It'll be something that people will be able to watch, and hopefully not too many. Heck, they could be hitting the eggnog, whatever, having a good time listening to us yak about wrestling. So definitely some neat things, and report your results. Send Mike and Dane emails. They like getting emails.
The power of media, right? We find out what happened to our 2 guys we asked questions about.
Yep, amazing. We mentioned them, and Mike and I both got messages, hey, this guy is, this or that. So makes our lives easier when you report results and, tell us, if we miss something. I like the great quote from Perry guy.
Zach?
About Zach, yes.
He did so much for us. He did Newcastle. I miss Zach.
Yeah, he he always said, if you're wrong, people are going to tell you. So, that's the interesting thing. So we'll, any last words of wisdom for the coming week of wrestling? I can't tell you exactly when we're going to have another one. Next week's probably going to be off limits. But
everyone's doing the whole Christmas thing.
Yeah, Christmas thing. But we will be back the 28th. I know that 11 days. Hope you guys can, everyone can relax and, do their thing with their families, and not have us for a week.
2-hour show with the countdown, and maybe we get some of these holiday tournament brackets up.
Yep, definitely. Yeah, we'll probably have to do one on Monday night too, just to talk about the holiday tournaments. So
I'll do that one live from MIA.
so any last words of wisdom, Dane? Any
Just coaches keep reporting those results. We tried to do a dry run, sort of to put teams into tiers for the seeding for the team state tournament. And one of the teams we had in the 2A, we had the sheet out 2A. There was one result posted, and it was like a 60-5 win over some 1A school. And it's like, where do you peg this school? You don't know anything about them. I mean, you've got a list of 5 guys that were varsity last year, but other than that, you don't have anything. I sent an email to the coach, and all of a sudden, those results started to trickle in. So, the tournament's going to work the best if it's seeded correctly, and it'll be seeded as correctly as possible if we have all the information. So, the more information we have, like Mike said, we can't have too much.
Yeah, definitely, and include your individual results. I mean, we do have, I think I counted almost 3. It was as of like on Monday or Tuesday. I'm comparing it to last year, and we're already way over halfway, and we're not even halfway through the season. Last year, this time we probably had maybe 1,000, and we're creeping on, almost 300 more results this year. So obviously, hopefully, something's going right. I don't know. I'm not gonna speculate too much, but it's good to see that we have those results, and it's gonna help promote the sport more than anything. I mean, you can go look and see what teams have done, and I mean it's fun to see. I mean there's a ton of wrestling nerds. I mean I just noticed I look at the stats on the website, and right now last year was about person would average about 6 pages per visit. Now they're up to 10. Which means people are spending some time looking at those profiles, looking at the results, looking at more stuff. And I mean, I really don't think there's a lot more talk going on. I think it's more people are looking at the results. They're looking at team profiles, wrestler profiles, things like that. So I think keep posting results that we can make those profiles look good and make sure your team records are all updated. So with that, we will be back in 11 days. Everyone have a Merry Christmas.
Final shout out for me real quick. Article for NWI Times today about Stas Tatowski. You guys tweeted it. I retweeted it. Awesome story. If you guys go to NWI.com, read the story. If you're in the region, donate some stuff. It's a really good article.
Yeah, definitely. It's on our Facebook and our Twitter page, so check it out. Definitely good, especially coming in the holidays, everyone, probably is giving a little bit to different charities, anything wrestling related, it perks my ear definitely. So, looking at things like that. So, with that, we will talk to you guys in 11 days. And have a Merry Christmas, and thanks for being awesome wrestling fans.